This golden road to paradise feels more like fool's gold. This is Sega Masters. In the last episode, I touched on the beginning of Sega and Tonka's partnership, which gave Tonka the distribution and marketing rights for the Master System in the US. Today we have one of the first games to feature Tonka's name on its game box, Aztec Adventure, also known as Nazca 88 in Japan. This console-exclusive title is best described as Nintendo's Legend of Zelda stripped down to its arcade action core and sprinkled with a little Latin American flavor. Though it is a little strange how Sega changed the name for the game's Western release, ignoring the fact that the Nazcans of Peru and Aztecs of Mesoamerica were two completely different cultures that never overlapped in history. Regardless of which ancient civilization is supposed to be represented, you take the role of Nino, the lad in the top square there, who's searching for the way to a supposed Aztec paradise containing wealth beyond imagination. And his journey will take him across 11 different regions of a Latin American landscape. The gameplay is similar to Zelda as you're traveling from screen to screen, slaying various hostile flora and fauna with your sword from a top-down view. However, don't bother looking for underworld dungeons or any secrets, this is straight up hack and slash action. Each stage also unfolds in a mostly linear path from beginning to end, so there's little in the way of side paths to explore as well. Anyway, killing the foes that confront you nets you money and special icons and enable a selection of secondary weapons, most of which are at your disposal throughout the game. The last slot in the info bar is reserved for an ability specific to the current stage that can help you with certain hazards. In the first stage, for example, you can collect fireballs that can burn down these plants and thorn bushes that get in your way. Other stages give you boots to cross over rivers, tornado spells to handle certain foes, and so forth. One real interesting feature of Aztec Adventure is the ability to hire some backup. Several times in each level you'll come upon these sword-wielding characters wearing ponchos. Throw enough money bags at them and they'll instantly join your side, walking and fighting enemies alongside you like bodyguards. Your newfound friends are basically like the option ships from Gradius as they mimic your attacks, even doubling or tripling your firepower when you use a special weapon. The rabbit, cat, and dog do each have their own price tags as indicated by the intro screen, so be sure you have enough cash to buy their loyalty. Your main objective of each level is to hunt down and eliminate the boss monsters inhabiting the landscape so you can open the door to the next level. These bosses are identified at the beginning of each level, and you'll come across them several times during your travels. Kill the required amount of bosses, and you'll be allowed to advance to the next level, if you can get to the now open door before your health is depleted. After a short breather, you get your assignment for the next boss to look out for in the following stage before continuing your quest and facing the next set of challenges. Aztec Adventure certainly has some nice features, and is seemingly backed up by some solid visuals, from the colorful, detailed environments to the large sprites that each have a unique look to them. The background music is also pretty catchy, though the sound effects are your typical Master System fare. But what things this game does right is unfortunately eclipsed by its excessive and frustrating difficulty, as well as its many warts. It's a good thing Nino has a generous life bar, since you'll be taking quite a few hits from your foes. Many of the creatures have cheap attacks that can't be avoided, and it doesn't help that Nino moves rather slowly, making it hard to react to incoming fire. Nino's sword, which can't be upgraded in any way, doesn't have a long enough reach to really be effective, forcing you to get right up in your adversaries' faces to damage them. And the iffy collision detection means you may not even land any hits, while your foes have no trouble damaging you. Switching between your special weapons can feel clunky as well, which isn't good when you need to bust something out in a hurry. Even the cool hired help idea is undone by the fact that your pals just mindlessly wander around for the most part, walking blindly into enemies or getting stuck behind walls, forcing you to constantly redirect their movements. Losing a life forces you to restart either back at the beginning of the stage or the last boss you managed to kill. Either way, you'll find yourself having to retrace your steps, once again facing the same enemies and hazards you barely survived the first time around. Unfortunately, the only way to refill your energy is to toss money into the wishing wells, which are only found in certain levels. Once your lives are exhausted, your quest ends. No continues or a save system is provided, though the game does feature a complicated level select sheet. Finally, Aztec Adventure promises 11 levels, but Sega apparently resorted to padding, as levels 6 through 10 are just repeats of the first 5 stages. Yes, you have to go through each environment twice before reaching the last stage and the rather disappointing final boss that stands between you and the ending, which touches on the true secret of Paradise. I'm not saying Aztec Adventure is a terrible game, mind you. With its nice features and solid presentation, it had the potential to be a fun quest for the Master System. Ultimately, the cart just couldn't overcome its many frustrations and disappointing execution. Good Zelda-style games will make their way to Sega's console in the near future, but this Golden Road goes anywhere but Paradise and isn't worth taking.